I tried the morning routines of history's most famous generals. That food was really, really painful. So for the Caesar today, we're gonna take it up a notch from yesterday. The next 4 days, I'm gonna start my mornings off like some of the most successful people ever to be born in the entire world. And we're gonna see if my productivity boosts throughout the roof, if I live like that. So I'm a Gen Z guy. And if you're also a Gen Z guy or know a Gen Z guy, which you definitely do, at least one, you'd know that productivity is not my strongest suit. Whether it be just not waking up early, ruining my day by starting watching TikTok, or just playing video games or whatever, productivity has never been my strongest suit. But I want to change that. I'm going to live like the most productive people, or perhaps the most successful people, you could say, ever in the world. Instead of looking at these fake gurus who sell you a productivity course and then 90% of it is mindset. Sorry, that got a bit personal, but you get my point. Why take notes from people that have no proof when you could look at people that are 100 million% some of the most successful people to ever live on the earth? That seems like a much better use of time to base your life around. So, we're going to start off with Alexander the Great.
It is currently 6 a.m. English weather just woke me up to prove it. Wonderful. But yeah, gonna get the Alexander the Great day started now.
So for breakfast, we're having a traditional Macedonian breakfast, at least from what I could find from sources. Usually they just ate very simple breakfast. Barley or porridge was a very big staple, of course. And then we have a lot of fruits going on. Apples, plums, cherries. And then we also have some bread dipped with olive oil. Usually this says they would have had wine with it, but I'm personally not trying to have wine at 6 a.m. in the morning, but that's just me.
So after eating that breakfast, I headed straight to the gym to start the Alexander the Great morning routine. Now, is this a one-to-one of exactly what he did and ate? I don't know, man. He was born a long time ago. Give me a break.
So today we're going to be doing the Alexander the Great inspired workouts. I've already eaten, obviously, but right now we're just going to be doing a simple squat first, and then I'll show you guys what I'm going to be doing after. So this is kind of to stimulate or simulate in a way the horse style cavalry exercise he did every single morning, especially in his wars and various battles. Okay, so I'm going to repeat this for about 2 more sets, just to kind of act as Alexander the Great would with horses every single day. Again, no horses though, so what are you going to do? Alright, so now I'm going to simulate what it was like to live under Alexander the Great, and probably what it was like to march in his army during all his conquests. In over 20 battles, he won every single one of them, and he only died at 32 and conquered the world at 28, which is absolutely insane. So, what have we been doing? Having a weighted vest on to simulate what it was like to wear armor back in those days. I don't think this is nearly as heavy, but let's go with it. We have this to simulate the spear, and this to simulate the shields. So I'm going to be marching for about 20 minutes on this, and hopefully it'll be good. I'll see you at the end of it.
So for marching for quite a while with Alexander the Great, looking really, really stupid, I eventually got to the point where I finished. But in the middle of that, I did mention that it was not exactly very fun.
You think it would be pretty easy since it's just walking, but the weight really adds on, and especially this arm. I'm pretty sure this is not how much a shield would weigh. From what I've seen, they usually weigh about like 5 kilograms, even like 5 pounds I've seen. This is 12, so not really enjoying it. However, but if it makes the video more entertaining, there you go. Now tune in, because we're going to do the very last thing, which is spear thrusts. Alright, and to end with, now we're just going to finish with some spear thrusts. Not an exercise that people do, from that I know, probably because it looks pretty stupid. But this is how Alexander the Great did fight. So they had to stand like this, holding their shields, and just spear the enemy over and over again. So I'm going to do 100 reps, just this. Basically over and over again. And yeah, hopefully it should be good.
To be fair, it wasn't actually bad. It really works your shoulders especially. I feel it specifically in the front delt more than anything. So definitely Alexander the Great's army would have been swole at the very least. But yeah, that concludes Alexander the Great's workout. Honestly, a pretty good day so far, to be honest. I could actually see myself sticking to this morning routine for quite a while. Obviously, the food was not too great in terms of protein, but it really fills you up and gets you a lot of energy for the workout itself. I didn't need as much caffeine. I still had coffee, but shut up. But yeah, the Alexander the Great day was really, really pretty good, actually. But I will see you guys tomorrow to see what Julius Caesar's day is going to look like.
All right, it is currently 6 a.m. Now we're going to try the Julius Caesar day.
All right, Julius Caesar day today. And what we're having for breakfast is pretty traditional. Just found some foods that, would have probably been eaten in ancient Rome, at least from what I could see by the sources. So, and it's pretty similar to the Alexander the Great meal, actually. So we have sourdough, we have some olive oil and some olives as well. We have some I think it's called Romano cheese. I can't remember the name. That's something Roman cheese. I'm not going to look up what the cheese name is. I can't lie. But of course, we also have some grapes as fruit because pretty famous for what Caesar was doing, right? And after finishing my breakfast, as the Romans would do, but I'm not in Rome, but ignore that, I went straight to the gym to have my Julius Caesar workout. And I decided to turn it up a notch from the Alexander the Great workout. All right, so for the Caesar day, we're going to take it up a notch from yesterday. Meaning, instead of just doing 3 sets of squats, we're going to have a proper leg workout. And my normal leg workout is just squats, Romanian deadlifts, leg extensions, hamstring curls, and then some abs to finish off. And honestly, I would have recorded it all, but I do not want to subject you guys to the faces that I make during my leg workout. It is horrific. But back to Julius Caesar. Okay, leg workout done, successfully crippled. Now what we're going to do, we're going to be swimming. Because Caesar was very, very big on swimming. Now, there is a legend that Caesar actually swam the Tiber River, but that's from Shakespeare, who's the same guy that said Richard III had a hump. So I'm not too keen to believe it. But he definitely was really, really big into swimming. There was one instance where he would have drowned. And this is a time where the majority of people, if they go near water, they just die. Caesar was able to swim away because he was just very good at it, unlike the majority of Romans. So I did my swim about 10 laps back and forth. And I just want to ask you guys, if you're enjoying this video, please give me a like. This is actually my first ever YouTube video. So it would mean a lot if you like, because I think that means more people will see it. Who knows? Okay, so we just finished the swim as Julius Caesar did. Now we're going to take it up a notch from what we did with Alexander. And we're going to be walking with the weighted vest on. Obviously, if you're conquering the entire, basically modern day France, you're going to need to walking a lot and getting used to having heavy armor on your back and everywhere else. I'm not carrying a shield and spear today. Personally, I think I might get arrested, but who knows? Anyway, we're going to be walking back and forth for about, how long do you think should be a good walking distance? About 3 miles? 3 miles. And yeah, sounds good. And after I got my 3 miles done, that was the morning routine of Julius Caesar done. And I have to say, these 2 days have made me a lot more productive. I've been able to get a lot more stuff done. But to be honest, that changes with tomorrow's day. Because now we're on to Napoleon Bonaparte. So the thing about Napoleon, he only got 4 hours of sleep, according to legend anyway. So I did the same thing. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 4:30 a.m.
There you go.
Now, I'm sure Caesar and Alexander also didn't have amazing amounts of sleep every single day. But with Napoleon, I wanted to push myself. And instead of waking up having breakfast, today I just woke up and got straight to work. But unlike Alexander and Julius, Napoleon didn't come from a rich or aristocratic background. He came from the middle of nowhere, Corsica, which only just became France. So he kind of had a chip on his shoulder and felt like he had to prove himself by doing a lot of work. Okay, got some work done. But the thing about Napoleon is he was a gigantic workaholic. But he also still ate some food. But when it came to eating food, specifically breakfast, he really just enjoyed simple food. Which is why what I'm going to be making now is just some eggs and some toast as well. Unlike the rest of the generals, Napoleon's day did not have
really relatively any exercise. I didn't go to the gym today. I saw this as a rest day. And to be honest, by like 12 p.m., I was just done and could not do anything. Definitely not a realistic morning routine to stick to. But tomorrow is our final day, as it is going to be Genghis Khan's day. Okay, and today is the final day. Today we're having a Mongol diet because we're going to be living like Genghis Khan. The Mongol diet basically consisted of pure meat. They had so much protein, which is why they were so strong as warriors. They also said they had fermented milk, which is basically yogurt, if you think about it. Well, that's what yogurt is. So I'm not even gonna eat all of this. I don't think I possibly could, because the big thing I've seen on the sources was they did not put any seasoning on their food, which was pretty horrific. So as a black person, this is really hurting me. So yeah, I'm just gonna eat as much as I can, but I can't eat anymore, and it's time to go work out. Oh yeah, I did end up eating it all. But I have to say, this was not fun at all. I'm never gonna have a breakfast like this again. Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar's and Napoleon's breakfasts were so delicious in comparison to this atrocity. I don't want to go to ancient Mongolia ever. I don't think I want to go to modern Mongolia. Oh my god. Alright, so that food was really, really painful, and it is not going to be easy now that I'm working out. But anyway, what are we doing now? Some rowing, kind of to simulate what that horse riding would be. As Genghis Khan basically rode horses his entire army throughout all of Mongolia and throughout most of Asia, even getting close to Europe. And if he lived longer, probably would have. Unfortunately, his son didn't really carry on his legacy, and it was a very short-lived Mongol Empire. But in terms of exercise, rowing, as I said, to simulate horses. Another big thing was wrestling, and especially archery. And I think I'm just going to be doing some shoulder exercises today, kind of to show you what it's going to be like. Of course, we have the weighted vest on still, because they always wore some armor. And yeah, let's get it going. I did the rowing for about 15 minutes, and then I did a few sets of what's called farmer's lunges. Basically walking, well, you can see on screen now, I don't have to explain it. I also decided to just do some pull-ups because why not? And I don't think I got any footage here, unfortunately, but also I got some stuff on the shoulders just to stimulate archery movements. That's the most important thing. Lash raises would be a good substitute for that as well. But yeah, that is the Mongolian or Genghis Khan morning routine workout. Now, again, I did work out later in the day, have a proper workout, but this is kind of the best morning routine I could think of just to stimulate the muscles, wake me up, so I can be as productive as I wanted to be. And those were my morning routines. So, out of all of them, I really enjoyed Julius Caesar's and Alexander the Great's, especially in terms of food and just working out. They were actually really fun, and I can see myself doing that for a long time. Napoleon and Genghis Khan's though, never again. Never again. But in terms of the big question, did I get more stuff done and become more productive because I followed some of the most successful people in history? Honestly, yeah. I edited my first ever YouTube video. This is the first one that I've ever made. I think I said that before in the video, but it really is. And I was only able to do that because I was able to be productive in the morning, and then I made my entire days just easy because I was already in a productive mindset. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please like if you thought it was a good video, and dislike if you thought it was not. Honestly, that's better than just leaving. If you watch the whole thing, then you must have some thoughts, right? Think about it. Anyway, yeah. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.